That's like a couple shopping carts full. How many trips did you make today?
Just one trip.
That's a full cart.
Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. A lawyer, a Porsche, 2 full carts of goods, 1 massive mistake. Today we unpack a case where a licensed attorney, someone trained to uphold the law, chose to break it in broad daylight. With over $5,000 in stolen merchandise and multiple incidents on record, this isn't about shoplifting. It's about consequences, credibility, and the reality that no title puts you above the law. With that, let's jump in.
So much cooler in here. All right, so what do we have together?
From July 29th. And then the
okay,
other
so
one
those
is
are the only 2 we're
reception.
addressing today.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to just proceed with this one right now, the one from today, we can. If you want to wait for the statement from this one.
It doesn't
which
matter.
I previously done.
If you have that together,
I don't have the
I'll take
statement.
them both.
I just have the intent.
You witnessed everything? Saw it? Saw
this.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to... Right.
The other one, I have clear as day footage of her not even touching a checklist. She didn't pay for anything in that.
Well, you know, if you'd like to, if you want to come out with me, we'll talk to her. Or if you'd like to speak to her at any time, you're more than welcome to. She's requesting that. The trespass and everything, if you want to ask her about the other day, or she'll ask you. Yeah. Maybe she'll say something to you.
There's a couple of like little things that I say when I'm interviewing them myself, so I'll just start with the same way.
Yeah. Were you like... Dog cam for a minute. All right.
Hey, how's it going?
You stay in there.
Can I please talk to you?
Yeah, I'm here to talk. So just before we even start, in order for me to even be able to call the police or do anything like this, make any type of detainment, I have to have a full investigation of information that has no wiggle room, okay? So when you were here on the 29th, I also know you were here yesterday and you did absolutely, I watched you the whole time that you were here. You were here. I have your plate. I have pictures of your plates. I have movements the entire time you're in the store. But on the 29th when you were here of July, and you made the selections of the LOL supply, of the LOL dolls and things along those lines. So the footage that I have is of your doppelganger. It's not of you?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I can't recall being here yesterday.
That's fine.
That was the photo I showed you also. You identified as being yourself too.
That's definitely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to pay everything that you have, and even if I'm fine. But I'm just not in the right state of my mind because I've gone to your, and I'm on some medication. You can check my.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. So in regards to the making of the payments, I'm not trying to be mean about this, right? Unfortunately, at this point, it has to go through court proceedings, right? However, if you're not feeling well and things along those lines, please let them know because there are resources that are available for you and things like that, right?
Yeah,
just be honest about everything because that's what's going to indicate what's going to happen moving forward. So saying that maybe you weren't here, that you didn't do these things, I have footage of them.
It sounds, and I have not denied that I'm here, but like when you said I was here yesterday, I can't even recall being here.
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly honest with you.
The 29th.
She was here yesterday.
Oh,
she just didn't do anything. I was just using that in this. You parked you parked right over there. You walked in the store, looked at kids' shoes, walked around the store for a literal minute and a half, and then exited the store again.
I don't remember.
And that's perfectly fine. If you don't remember that, then I would suggest that you let somebody know that.
I really would appreciate if I can go ahead and pay for all the losses you guys have had because of my situation. And if we don't take it to the jail, I have 4 children, and I'm really sorry that I've caused this.
Yeah.
But I'm more than happy to just pay the loss and whatever fine I have to pay and having to deal with jail or anything because I feel like my situation is probably going to get even worse. And if there is a way to settle this, I would really, really appreciate it.
Unfortunately, the best way that this is going to get paid is through Russian at this point. There will be an opportunity for you to pay it back and maybe some type of closure on the case through that. But prior incidents, and you literally just walked out the door with $1,000 of merchandise.
All right, so before we talk, I just need to read your rights, okay? So you understand. All right, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney present now or at any time during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you without cost. If you talk to me, you will have the right to stop answering questions or speak to an attorney at any time. Do you understand these rights? So what's going on today? We got the call.
Yeah.
Hit the walls and other objects.
Just going through something. I did not mean to shoplift. I totally realized that I didn't bring my purse. I was coming in here and I was going to go back. Have someone come in and help me out and pay for everything, and I'm more than happy to do that.
How many items did you bring with you?
I don't even know. I'm not in the right set of my mind. I'm just recently.
So obviously there's several large. I mean, what did you grab that you remember from the store?
I remember a large box and another large box.
Okay, 2 large boxes. Okay.
I recently lost my aunt out of COVID, and
I'm sorry
I
to hear
just
that.
realized that I just came in and I didn't pay for it all the time. I just realized that I need to have someone coming, and I was just about to go in and have someone come and take me that and help me out.
Help you to pay for everything you just took out and loaded up? Okay.
Please let me go and pay for
Okay, obviously some of those items on the back seat belong to Target. I have a Target employee here. All right, if you're all right, I'm going to have them retrieve their items in the back. Is it a back seat? Are you okay with me retrieving Target's items?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, I get you. So she says she's just going through a hard time and she totally forgot to pay.
Yeah. I have
obviously, how much of this is...
This is all us. This is
She's already
our
given me
branch.
permission to go in there and retrieve anything that belongs to Target anyway. So
Take this and get an itemized list for you.
yeah. So we'll verify what's yours. And before you put anything up, I'll need to get photographed and all that as well. Okay. So I'm assuming if you want to tell me yay, nay, I'm assuming yes.
Absolutely. This is not mine. That's her
That is
personal
her purse
belonging.
right
this
now.
This is all of our branch.
Just set that up on the front for right now.
This is ours. This is also ours. This
So
is
everything in here
definitely
is yours?
ours. Yeah, it's all us.
Okay.
Very consistent with the stuff that she's previously stolen as well. It's all us. That's all our brand. I don't even sell it anywhere else.
She's got an entire car full.
Yes. Yes. And yes.
If you're good on this, I can, and you can go do your thing if you're good with
Thank
it.
you.
It'll be,
Yeah, we need a couple of them. They will not take her medication. Leave that here. See if she wants to bring her purse. Or if we get a contact for somebody. Sorry. That's a lot of stuff, not just a couple boxes.
I know.
That's like a couple shopping carts full. How many trips did you make today?
Just one trip. I
That's a whole-
promise to you. I'm not-
That's a full cart. Okay. Well,
This
here's the deal. The store wants to prosecute, okay? So they wish to prosecute, so you are under arrest for retail theft, okay? Your purse is in there. They can't take medications into the jail or anything like that. Do you want your purse with you? You have your ID in your purse. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring the purse back, and then I'll get the ID out. I have to make sure there's no weapons or anything inside.
My children are asking for the phone.
Are they? Father, anybody we can call about the car?
Yes,
Oh, well, okay, we'll get that information in just a moment.
We do sell them, but I can't substantiate that that came from us, so you can leave that one behind.
Hello. I'm going to pull up a little bit.
Okay, so what did you think about that one? Now, I've scoured the internet. If anyone knows who this person is, let me know. Because there are some other things that could happen that I want to check into to see if they happened or not. All right, so with this, first thing first, all right, I don't know if she's actually an attorney or not. That's what the original uploader said in their original video. They kept calling this person an attorney. She never mentioned it in this video, all right? So I'll put that out there and be forthwith with that information. But with that, let's jump into the Florida law. We do know we're in Seminole County, Florida, and the law is theft, found at section 812.014. It's defined as knowingly obtaining or using the property of another to deprive the owner temporarily or permanently of that property. Now, a third-degree felony is anything valued at between $750 up to $20,000. This carries the penalty of up to 5 years in prison or 5 years on probation and a fine of up to $5,000. Now, it's important to understand, and let me state it here, in the talking portions that were cut out, all right, they mentioned that she was put on probation for this charge, and then she got caught with a repeat offense not so many months thereafter. All right, but let's talk about repeat incidences and what we do know about. Here, this very same loss prevention employee stated that they had caught her doing the same thing prior on video. So this wasn't an isolated event. The store had video evidence from multiple days. Officers confirmed 2 known thefts, July 29th, and I heard August 10th. But then we also heard about her saying 2 days in a row. But all in all, it does show prior suspicious behavior and a consistency in her method. Remember, the loss prevention person came out and almost told her to a T where she was, where she went in the store, how long she stayed there, where she parked her car, and how close it was to where she parked it on that day. So, if nothing else is clear, be sure that you understand that those cameras around these stores see and follow everything. And also understand that repeated offenses don't just trigger felony charges. They often lead to permanent bans from retailers like Target and Walmart, and also reputational damage far beyond the courtroom. If this woman was a lawyer, she probably was going to be censored by the local bar or wherever she's barred at, whichever state she holds a license in, and she potentially could lose her license behind this kind of behavior. Let's apply our 6 levels of evidence to this case. All right, we'll go from the lowest to the highest. This is how the government moves from a hunch to a conviction. So first, we have mere suspicion. This is simply a gut feeling that something might be wrong, but the government or the police don't have any concrete facts to point to just yet. Now, this level, once reached, may start the government or the police taking a closer look into something. Maybe going a place, appearing on the scene, seeing what's happening, moving up a level to reasonable suspicion. Now, this is when the police have specific and articulable facts that justify an investigation. This is when they can point to something and saying, because of this and this is why I'm stopping a person. All right, this is the level that's needed for the police to make a stop, to ask questions about what's going on, and to make a brief investigation to see if there's any criminal activity afoot. Here, we have a woman that's been seen in the store on multiple days bypassing the checkout. The store documented the dates, her license plate, her movement patterns, all pointing to something more than a coincidence. Moving up a level, we have probable cause. Now, this is when the government or the police have enough evidence for a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed and the suspect is involved. This is the level needed in order to make an arrest or for the police to go seek out a warrant from a judge. Now here, the surveillance footage clearly showed her pushing carts of unpaid merchandise out of the store. She admits to being present and gives inconsistent stories. Remember, she at one point admitted that yes, that's her on some pictures that she had been shown by the officer, but then when asked about was she in the store, no, I wasn't in the store. That's the inconsistency I'm talking about. All right, but you have all that together, and it helps the government potentially achieve probable cause and make an arrest on this woman. Moving up a level, we have preponderance of the evidence. Now, this level means more likely than not. This level is used in civil cases, usually. In the civil cases where people are fighting each other for money. They're basically suing each other for money. It requires 51% of the evidence in your favor to win this type of case. Now here we have the woman's statements. All right, she says, I wasn't in my right state of mind. I'm on medication. I'll pay for everything. Now those things combined with the store's video footage and the recovery of the goods from the backseat of the car, remember it was filled to the brim with stuff, that all strongly establishes that she committed a theft. Potentially, if the store wanted to bring a civil lawsuit against her, either to ban her or to recover property that they didn't get from that day, but they have video of her loading her car and leaving, there's a potential. Let's move up one more level. We have clear and convincing evidence. Now this means that the evidence and the claim is highly probable and persuasive. This level is used in some criminal cases at certain points in the case. It's also used in special other types of actions like child custody cases, mental commitment cases. It's used in criminal cases when you're trying to establish a certain defense. Sometimes you have to bring at least as much evidence in order to shift the burden back to the government for them to then bring their case. To win a case that requires this standard, it takes about 75% of the evidence in your favor. Now here we have loss prevention officers who would testify to seeing her actions in real time. You have police officers that recovered the stolen items directly from her vehicle. She didn't deny taking any of the stuff, and she only pleaded to pay and avoid jail. So with that, I think they probably could meet the clear and convincing standard. Now, moving up a level to beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, this is the highest legal standard here in the United States. It requires that a jury or a fact finder be assured that there are no other reasonable alternatives besides the defendant being guilty of the charges being brought. Now remember, this is required for every criminal conviction. Now here you have the surveillance once again for multiple days that they will present to a jury or to a potential bench trial. You have itemized inventories, you have eyewitness statements, you have the partial confession here on the body cam. There aren't any credible alternatives but that she stole from the store. The evidence potentially could easily convince a jury of her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Now we'll talk a little bit more in the jury section about that defense she wanted to try to tell the police about her medications. So flag that and we'll come back to it in just a second here. Now let's step into the shoes of a juror. You've watched the footage, you've seen all the evidence, and you've heard the excuses. Here's what you know. We have at least 2 separate thefts, maybe more. We have over at least $1,000 in stolen merchandise. On this occasion, potentially up to $5,000. We have a Porsche that's parked in the handicapped spot. We have an offer to pay only after getting caught. And a woman that's supposedly trained in the law that's breaking it. Now, let me ask you this. What defense is she trying to present? She says, I wasn't in my right state of mind. I'm on medication. I didn't even realize what I was doing. As a juror, you're allowed to consider that defense, but under the law, she must bring clear and convincing evidence to support that defense. That means medical records, diagnoses, prescriptions, or professional testimony. Something beyond just saying in that moment when it potentially can get someone out of cuffs. Words alone aren't enough. Emotion isn't enough. Regret after the fact, still not enough. Now, our question for today. If you're in the jury room, would you accept her mental state as a valid defense? Or would you view it as an attempt to avoid consequences? Now you have to understand that we're role-playing as if you heard everything that was going to be on the table. But let me know in the comments below. Guilty or not guilty? Does the fact that she's a lawyer or a mother of 4 children, does that change how you see this case? What level of evidence would you need to believe her story? Let me know all that in the comments below. But mostly, guilty or not guilty? All right, so what did we learn today? A law degree doesn't shield you from handcuffs. A luxury car doesn't cover up criminal behavior, and tears, no matter how sincere, don't undo theft. This woman made a choice, not once, but multiple times. The evidence was overwhelming. The emotional plea was a little bit too late. She was sentenced to just 3 months of probation for this, but her credibility, her reputation, those are going to be harder to recover from any minor court sentence. And apparently, according to the original video, go back and watch the original. This guy actually has some really good content out there. Just 2 months later, apparently she was arrested again. Now, I wish I had her name because I'm sure she's probably been disbarred. So a pattern of behavior that the law and the public just can't ignore. She keeps doing the same thing. She's stealing. So let this case be a reminder. Intent matters. The evidence, it matters. Your decisions, they're going to define your record and your future. So finally, let me ask you, what would you have done if you were in her shoes? And what would you have decided if you were in the jury room? Drop your verdict in the comments. Share your thoughts on her defense. Like, subscribe, and share the video. Remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy, and I am Professor Ross. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Be safe out there. Have a great day.
I order you to subscribe to Advocacy Alchemy and return tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. Central, for another lecture. Dismissed.